Good morning, guys. We are at the awesome Circuit of the Americas for an epic hypercar track day event. Starting things off strong with the purple exposed carbon fiber Apollo IE. It's got the engine from the F12 TDF, naturally aspirated 6.3 liter V12, 780 horsepower. I rode in one of these in Germany last year, and the gearbox whine is absolutely nuts. Excited to see this go out on the track later on. The road presence of the Apollo is insane. When they first built this, they told me that this exhaust cost more than a BMW M4 just for the exhaust. Fully exposed carbon fiber Regera that we're going for a ride in either today or tomorrow. This thing is absolutely nuts. One gear all the way up to 250 miles an hour. The guy's super nice and has a matching spec full carbon Senna. We're in the paddock now for the Hypercar Invitational. Some of these cars we saw at the car show, but it was kind of loud. Absolutely gorgeous exposed carbon fiber Wyra BC. One of my favorite cars I've ever reviewed, honestly. I thought they just looked good, but they actually drive really well. It's got a single clutch, but it adds to the drama, and the blow-off valve noise is insane. And then we've got the new Utopia. I need to review one of these at some point. Unfortunately, it has no PPF, and it's got about 4 miles on it, so driving it would be a bit ridiculous. But Riley engaged, let me know. Want to film a POV? Well, things get even more extreme. We've got the Zonda R Faster LLC's car. This thing is insane. Having only been in the road Zonda F, I can't even imagine what this thing is like. Full-fledged track monster. Let's look at the interior if we can poke in through there. Look at that steering wheel. That Apollo IE with the door open. What a car. I mean, are you kidding me? You're literally just laying down in these carbon fiber seats with pads. It's about as close to an F1 car for the road as it gets. Always great seeing the LaFerrari Aperta as well. It'll be cool to see this go out on track. What a gorgeous car. AMG GT3 doing some testing. Really cool to see with the entire front end taken apart. Look at that, as if the 296 street car wasn't good enough. Imagine how amazing this race car is to drive. That M4 GTS is menacing. Ferrari Aperta pulling through. Getting up close and personal with the Chiron Super Sport, a car capable of 305 miles an hour, quad turbocharged W16, 1600 horsepower. I've driven the standard Chiron, but I'd love to get behind the wheel of this Super Sport someday. What an insane interior, and full exposed carbon fiber as well. I mean, this is just as good as it gets. They did such a good job of creating a timeless interior. I love that C-shaped light, the carbon fiber everywhere, the shifter. Oh, those paddles feel nice. Carbon fiber steering wheel, and look at that. The speedo goes up to 300 miles an hour. I didn't realize these KTM Expos had the RS3 motor in it. 5-cylinder. This thing is insane. Look at this steering wheel. That is epic. And the way the canopy closes. Apparently these are road legal in Europe. Such a spaceship. Look at the elevation change right here. It's almost like a reverse corkscrew. Goes shooting up the hill, around and to the left. Some supercars rolling up to go out on the track, and then a LaFerrari Aperta and the KTM Expo. First time in the KTM Expo out at Coda. I'm pumped for this. All right, about to rip my Schnee like it's standing still. just peering in this window and there's a bunch of people painted all white. What is happening in here? How awesome is this? Doing a pit walk right now and they got a mariachi band. I've never seen that in my entire life at a racetrack. It's pretty cool how they make all of the cars fair. It's called balance of performance. So because this BMW is heavier than the GT3R, it gets a little bit more power so that they can make all of the different cars that are front engine, rear engine, mid engine, equal to each other, so it's much more about the driver and the tuning. Well, an awesome last minute turn of events. I'm about to drive this full exposed carbon fiber McLaren Senna out on the track. One of the best track cars ever. This rear wing only weighs 10 pounds, yet produces 1,750 pounds of downforce. Let's go ahead and check out these brakes. They're called CCMR brakes, and they're a combination of carbon ceramics and legitimate race car brakes, allowing this to slow down from 124 miles an hour to 0, 60 feet sooner than a 720S. Inside of the Senna now, one of the coolest parts of the car is that the doors have little glass windows so you can see down on the track and see the apex. Very excited for this folding display. Just folding down right there into track mode. To put it into race mode, press and hold this button up here. 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 making 789 horsepower, and we're about to take it on Circuit of the Americas. We're in some good company. Steven in the P1, the Regera, and then next to me a Chiron Super Sport. Let's go. Big shout out to Zane for making this possible. He's in his Regera right now, same spec as this. Make sure to follow him on Instagram. I am pumped to drive this right now. All right, here we go. Second time tracking a McLaren Senna. I'm so excited for this. Active dynamics panel to switch between comfort, sport, and track. But we also have race mode up here, which we are in right now if you press and hold that. 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Let's go.
Yep.
All right, off we go. First time driving on Circuit of the Americas. Look at that, 2 Cybertrucks as the film cars. That is unreal. When have you seen anything like that? Nothing like driving a Senna on the track behind 3 Cybertrucks and next to a whole bunch of hypercars. And all these people in the back of them. So funny. God, this car is so awesome. Even at this speed, it's legitimately fun to drive. The suspension is so harsh. This thing, you feel every bump in the road. That's what makes it so awesome. Weighs only 2,850 pounds with all fluids, making it the lightest McLaren other than the 600 LT and the McLaren F1. Obviously more power than either of those cars. But the crazy amount of downforce, as well as the braking ability, is what makes this thing truly special. This is a long track. Watching the GT1 cars race each other, they were doing 2:05s. 2 minutes is a long time for a lap. And those things were absolutely hauling. And going this speed, crawling along the track, it feels like the track goes forever and ever. Look at this, so many cars on the track, this is insane. Behind 2 Chiron Super Sports. That is so sick. And the same person owns both. That is pretty darn cool. Hey, that was fun. Obviously, you know, a little slower than when I reviewed it at Estoril, but an absolute blast, and special thanks to the owner. That was a cool experience to get to go with all these hypercars out on the track and drive Coda for the first time. It's so funny, on these parade laps, usually people will roll down the window and wave at the spectators, but here's the window switches up here. You can barely get your hand out. That's so funny.